We shot the rest of the scene where he sidekicks me, and he sidekicked me so hard. I mean, Bruce hit like a mule. That in one of the scenes when he hit me, I flew back and one of the stuntmen behind me, his arms got broken.
For decades, fans have watched Enter the Dragon believing they knew every detail of Bruce Lee's iconic showdown with Robert Wall. But hidden behind the polished edit is a brutal moment most viewers never noticed.
Bruce knew I was a professional fighter. He knew I was famous for taking hits, and he said to me, "Bob, I want to hit you, and I want to hit you hard." And I said, "Go for it, great."
For decades, moviegoers and martial arts enthusiasts alike have watched Enter the Dragon, convinced that they understood every element of Bruce Lee's iconic duel with Robert Wall. Fans have memorized the moves, the pacing, and even the lines of dialogue, believing they were witnessing a carefully choreographed display of cinematic martial arts perfection. However, lurking beneath the film's polished exterior is a harsh and often overlooked truth. The fight between Bruce Lee and Wall contained moments of genuine physical danger, moments that most viewers never realized existed. Bruce Lee, known not just as a martial arts legend, but as a constant professional, approached the fight scene with an intensity that blurred the line between stage choreography and real combat. Bob Wall, a skilled martial artist in his own right, remembered Bruce saying directly to him, "Bob, I want to hit you, and I want to hit you hard." To this, Wall responded with trust and professionalism, encouraging Bruce to deliver his strikes fully. On the surface, what viewers see on film is a seamless, elegant confrontation. Yet behind the camera, the sequence was far more volatile. It involved real physical contact, unpredictable environmental conditions, and even an accident with a prop that fundamentally altered the fight's tone. The stakes were high. Even a seemingly minor misstep, a strike landing on the neck or face, could have caused serious injury. Yet Bruce Lee navigated this treacherous choreography with an almost effortless precision, ensuring both realism and safety while still delivering breathtaking cinematic energy. This is a story of the legendary Bruce Lee versus Robert Wall fight sequence, how its true intensity went unnoticed for more than half a century, the hidden dangers that were ever present, and the professionalism and skill that allowed two martial artists to transform a fight scene into an enduring masterpiece. To fully appreciate this iconic duel, it is essential to understand the context in which it was filmed. Enter the Dragon was a film at the crossroads of East and West. Released in 1973, Hong Kong cinema operated under vastly different production standards compared to Hollywood. Budgets were tighter, schedules were shorter, and safety measures were far less stringent. Protective gear was minimal, and stunt performers routinely accepted that real contact would occur. Directors prioritized speed and efficiency, and the unspoken rule on set was simple. If a technique looked fake, redo it. If it looked real, even if it hurt, keep it. Into this high-pressure, fast-moving environment stepped Bruce Lee, a perfectionist with unyielding standards, a global icon in the making, and a man determined to showcase martial arts with the authenticity, speed, and precision that audiences had never seen before. Lee rejected exaggerated stunts, wire-assisted acrobatics, and theatrics that lacked substance. To him, martial arts on screen had to reflect martial arts in reality. Fast, sharp, and honest, conveying not just motion but intent and impact. Bob Wall was not a conventional actor. He was a highly trained martial artist and one of Bruce's trusted collaborators. Their prior experience together created a shared understanding of what realism on screen required. Strikes that carried force, even at personal risk. This was no ordinary fight scene. It was a test of professionalism, technical skill, and emotional intensity. The Bruce Lee versus O'Hara confrontation wasn't merely choreography. It was a deliberate performance where every punch, kick, and reaction had to balance dramatic expression with genuine physical commitment. The deeper significance of this fight lies not only in the physicality, but in its emotional undertone. The scene was central to the narrative of honor, responsibility, and personal loss. Within the story, O'Hara is linked to the death of Lee's character's sister, raising the stakes far beyond conventional martial arts contests. For Bruce, approaching the scene meant channeling controlled anger and escalating intensity while maintaining perfect timing and precision. The choreography was crafted to escalate in force and motion, reflecting the narrative arc while preserving safety, a delicate balance only possible with combined expertise of two skilled martial artists. Adding to complexity, Production challenges in Hong Kong created unpredictable variables. Tight shooting schedules, improvised props, and minimal safety precautions. Even something as seemingly mundane as a glass bottle became a source of real danger, culminating in a genuine injury that Bruce continued to work through. The physical and emotional intensity of the scene, therefore, was not staged. It emerged naturally from the convergence of meticulous choreography, professional discipline, and unforeseen hazards. Ultimately, what makes the Bruce Lee versus Robert Wall fight so iconic is not just the elegance of the martial arts moves, but the underlying truth that audiences are largely unaware of. This was a scene where two professionals balanced artistry with real danger, delivering authenticity that modern filmmaking often simulates digitally. It is a testament to Bruce Lee's vision, Bob Wall's skill, and the uncompromising pursuit of realism that still captivates audiences nearly 50 years later. Setting the stage, Enter the Dragon in the world of Hong Kong cinema. To understand the full impact of the Bruce Lee versus Robert Wall fight, it is essential to situate it within the cinematic and cultural environment in which Enter the Dragon was created. The year was 1973. Hong Kong's film industry, though vibrant and prolific, operated under conditions vastly different from Hollywood. Budgets were limited, shooting schedules were tight, and safety regulations were minimal. Productions relied heavily on efficiency, improvisation, and the skill of performers rather than elaborate special effects, protective padding, or elaborate stunt choreography. The martial arts genre, already popular in Hong Kong cinema, demanded speed and realism. Audiences craved authenticity, punches and kicks that felt real, movements that conveyed power, and actors whose commitment transcended the frame. Directors and producers, constrained by time and resources, often tolerated a level of physical risk that would be unthinkable in modern film production. Protective gear was sparse, breakaway props were inconsistent, and the performers themselves were expected to deliver sequences that could involve actual impact. This created an environment where martial arts performers had to be highly skilled, extremely focused, and physically resilient. Bruce Lee entered this landscape as more than just an actor. He was a revolutionary force, determined to elevate martial arts cinema beyond spectacle and into the realm of authenticity and artistry. Lee's philosophy was simple but radical. The movements of martial arts on film must reflect martial arts in life. No wires, no exaggerated reactions, no empty flourish. Every strike, every block, and every step needed to carry intent, precision, and energy. Audiences, he believed, could instinctively detect when a movement lacked commitment, no matter how polished it looked on camera. Lee's insistence on realism created a unique dynamic on set. While other actors might have performed fight sequences as stylized, largely safe movements, Bruce required an entirely different level of engagement. Every move had to be executed with both technical skill and emotional authenticity. For Lee, choreography was not merely a series of steps. It was an extension of the character, a reflection of the narrative, and a test of both discipline and courage. This is where Bob Wall's role becomes crucial. Wall, a highly trained martial artist with decades of experience, was more than a stunt performer. He was a trusted collaborator who understood Bruce's vision. Together, they shared a mutual respect for the martial arts craft and a professional understanding of controlled impact. Wall knew that working with Bruce meant facing real force, strikes that carried weight, speed, and danger. But he also understood that this intensity was tempered by technique, awareness, and mutual trust. The production environment itself further heightened the stakes. Hong Kong sets were often chaotic by modern standards. Crowded shooting spaces, improvised props, and uneven surfaces all contributed to unpredictability. A fight sequence that might appear safe on screen could, behind a camera, present multiple risks. Performers moving quickly in close quarters, props failing or behaving unexpectedly, and cameras positioned where even slight miscalculations could result in injuries. Unlike Hollywood productions of the time, where safety coordinators and stunt doubles mitigated risks, Hong Kong films often relied on performers themselves to manage hazards. In addition to these physical constraints, the O'Hara fight carried intense narrative weight. Within the story, O'Hara is not merely an opponent. He represents a personal and emotional challenge for Bruce Lee's character. The fight is a culmination of themes such as honor, vengeance, and personal responsibility. This narrative dimension meant that Bruce could not treat the scene lightly. Every strike and movement had to convey the underlying emotional stakes. The choreography was meticulously planned to escalate in intensity alongside the story, starting with measured, controlled movements and gradually transitioning into a display of controlled aggression and emotional release. This blending of emotional intensity, technical precision, and physical risk is what made the Bruce Lee versus Robert Wall fight unique. Unlike conventional fight scenes, which prioritize visual spectacle over realism, this sequence demanded that performers balance the art of performance with the discipline of martial arts. Every punch had to be convincing, every kick precise, and every reaction authentic, all while navigating an environment where a single misstep could cause injury. The Hong Kong production culture also contributed to an atmosphere of immediacy and urgency. Directors prioritized efficiency, often shooting multiple takes rapidly without extended breaks. This placed additional demands on performers, who had to maintain focus, energy, and precision over extended periods. Fatigue could increase the risk of missteps, while improvisation on props or surfaces could introduce new variables into the choreography. It was within this high-pressure context that Bruce Lee and Bob Wall executed a fight sequence that was not only technically demanding, but also emotionally and physically charged. Ultimately, Part 1 reveals that the intensity of the fight scene was no accident. It emerged from the intersection of Hong Kong film practices, Bruce Lee's uncompromising vision, Bob Wall's skill and professionalism, and the narrative demands of the story. Understanding this environment allows us to appreciate the true risks involved, the skill required, and why the scene's raw energy continues to resonate with audiences today. It was not merely a performance. It was a demonstration of dedication, courage, and artistry under conditions that left little room for error. The emotional undercurrent, why the O'Hara fight mattered to Bruce Lee. While the physical intensity of the Bruce Lee versus Robert Wall fight is immediately striking, the emotional and narrative dimensions of the scene are equally crucial to understanding its significance. Enter the Dragon is remembered as one of the most influential martial arts films ever made, not only because of its kinetic fight sequences, but also because of the underlying story that drives each confrontation. The fight against O'Hara is central to that story, and understanding its emotional weight sheds light on why Bruce approached it with unparalleled seriousness. Within the narrative, O'Hara is more than a mere opponent in a tournament or villain to be defeated. He is intricately tied to a personal and moral conflict for Bruce Lee's character. The film establishes themes of honor, responsibility, and vengeance, and a confrontation with O'Hara represents the climax of these themes. In the storyline, O'Hara is linked to the death of the protagonist's sister, a loss that infuses the fight with emotional intensity far beyond the typical martial arts duel. This context transforms the fight from a physical display into a dramatic turning point in the narrative. Each movement, strike, and reaction had to communicate not just skill, but also emotional truth. Bruce Lee approached the scene with a level of preparation and focus that reflected this narrative significance. Colleagues on set consistently noted that he carried a different energy into the O'Hara fight compared to other sequences. While Bruce was always disciplined and precise, this particular scene demanded an added layer of emotional presence. He needed to convey controlled anger, a gradual escalation of intensity, and the tension of someone grappling with personal loss while executing flawless martial arts technique. Choreography alone could not convey this complexity. The sequence had to be structured so that the emotional arc mirrored the physical action. Early movements were measured and deliberate, reflecting restraint and control. As the fight progressed, the exchanges became sharper and more forceful, illustrating the character's gradual loss of restraint without compromising technical accuracy. Bruce's mastery allowed him to maintain this delicate balance, creating a scene in which every strike was both physically convincing and emotionally resonant. Bob Wall, as O'Hara, was fully aware of the emotional and technical demands placed upon the scene. Having trained extensively in martial arts and previously collaborated with Bruce, Wall knew that this sequence required more than mere execution of choreography. He had to be responsive, aware, and adaptable. The intensity of Bruce's performance could vary slightly depending on emotional and situational factors, and Wall needed to adjust in real time to maintain both safety and realism. This professional trust and synchronization were essential, as even minor miscalculations could result in injury. The production environment further amplified the stakes. Filming in Hong Kong during the early 1970s involved rapid shooting schedules, limited safety measures, and crowded sets. Extras were often positioned close to the action. Props were not always securely fastened, and the ground surfaces varied across different shooting locations. This meant that performers had to maintain acute awareness of their surroundings while executing sequences that demanded precise timing and substantial force. A single misstep, an overextended kick, a misplaced block, or misjudged step could easily have caused injury to themselves or those around them. Against this backdrop, the O'Hara fight emerges not as a routine action scene, but as a convergence of narrative, emotion, and physical performance. Bruce Lee's philosophy of authenticity required that emotion inform action. The intensity audiences see on screen is therefore a reflection not only of martial arts skill, but the character's inner state and personal stakes. Bruce's ability to synchronize emotion with technical execution is part of what distinguishes this scene from other fight sequences of the era. The emotional dimension also shaped the timing and rhythm of the fight. Bruce's controlled anger influenced the pacing of strikes and the sharpness of his movements. Early exchanges were precise and restrained, demonstrating mastery and composure. As the scene progressed, the intensity escalated, reflecting the narrative stakes and the character's emotional journey. Bob Wall's experience as a professional martial artist was critical in ensuring that the escalating force did not compromise safety. He had to respond dynamically to Bruce's changing energy, adjusting his positioning, timing, and reactions to keep the choreography both convincing and secure. This interplay of emotion and physicality also underscores the film's broader narrative ambitions. Enter the Dragon sought to present martial arts as an expression of character and story, not simply a spectacle. The O'Hara fight embodies this principle. It is a sequence where every movement communicates a blend of narrative significance, personal resolve, and emotional authenticity. Bruce's commitment to this approach meant that he could not rely solely on rehearsed choreography. He needed to inhabit the scene, allowing genuine emotional energy to guide his actions while maintaining near-perfect technical execution. The result is a fight that resonates on multiple levels. To audiences, it appears as a series of beautifully executed martial arts moves. To those familiar with the production, it represents a careful balance of professional trust, physical risk, and emotional engagement. The scene's power derives from this fusion. The physical danger, the narrative weight, and performers' disciplined artistry combine to create an intensity that feels immediate and real. By integrating narrative significance, emotional authenticity, and technical precision, Bruce Lee elevated the O'Hara fight beyond a standard action sequence. It becomes a study in how emotion can shape martial arts choreography, influencing timing, force, and rhythm while demanding adaptability and focus from both performers. Every punch and kick is not just a display of skill. It is an embodiment of the character's internal struggle, expressed through the disciplined movements of trained martial artists. Understanding this emotional undercurrent allows us to appreciate why the O'Hara fight remains so memorable. The scene's intensity is not purely visual. It is psychological, emotional, and physical. The stakes on screen mirror the stakes on set, creating a rare alignment between performance, narrative, and reality. Bruce Lee's ability to channel this convergence makes the fight not only a cinematic milestone, but also a testament to the artistry of martial arts filmmaking, choreography, precision, and martial arts philosophy. The remarkable realism of the Bruce Lee versus O'Hara fight in Enter the Dragon is not accidental. It emerges from a meticulous combination of choreography, technical precision, and Bruce Lee's deeply held martial arts philosophy. While audiences may perceive the fight as effortless and natural, every movement on screen was the product of careful planning, rehearsal, and mastery honed over years of disciplined training. Bruce Lee approached fight choreography with an unparalleled commitment to authenticity. Unlike many martial arts films of the era, which relied on exaggerated movements, wire-assisted acrobatics, or theatrical flair, Bruce sought to depict martial arts as it would appear in reality, fast, sharp, and grounded in actual technique. He rejected empty showmanship, insisting that every strike, block, and kick convey real intention and potential impact. This philosophy shaped how he choreographed the O'Hara fight. From the opening moments, the fight is structured with a clear escalation of intensity. Bruce's initial strikes are deliberate, precise, and controlled, signaling mastery and composure. As the confrontation progresses, movements become faster, harder, and more aggressive, reflecting the character's emotional state while maintaining technical accuracy. This escalation required not only skill, but also an acute awareness of timing and distance. Each blow had to look forceful while remaining safe, demanding near-perfect synchronization between Bruce and Bob Wall. The physical risks, injuries, props, and real contact. While the emotional stakes of the O'Hara fight were substantial, the physical reality of filming the sequence added an entirely new layer of intensity. The combination of high-speed martial arts, crowded sets, and partially real contact created a situation where even minor miscalculations could lead to serious injury. One of the most striking examples of this is the notorious bottle incident, a moment that reveals both the risks of Hong Kong film production in the 1970s and Bruce Lee's commitment to authenticity. In the early 1970s, prop standards were not as rigorous as they are today. Breakaway glass, now common in modern productions, was inconsistent in Hong Kong. Some props were improvised or sourced quickly due to tight budgets and schedules. The bottle used in the O'Hara fight was intended to shatter safely, but accounts differ on whether it had been properly prepared. Some production members recalled there was a real glass bottle used out of necessity, while others suggested it was meant to be breakaway glass that failed. Regardless of the exact circumstances, the result was the same. When Bruce struck the bottle, it shattered in a way that caused a cut on his hand. The injury was significant enough to require medical attention, though reports vary on the severity. Some sources state that Bruce needed stitches, while others describe a laceration as painful but manageable. What is undisputed is that he chose to continue filming the fight with an open wound, demonstrating his dedication to both continuity and emotional intensity of the scene. By maintaining momentum, he ensured that the rhythm of the fight, crucial for both narrative and visual impact, was not broken. For Bob Wall, the injury introduced additional complexity. Fighting opposite someone with a painful, partially compromised hand meant adjusting his timing, positioning, and reactions to avoid unintended contact while still maintaining the sequence's realism. Wall's experience as a professional martial artist was critical here. He had to be hyper-aware of subtle changes in Bruce's movements caused by the injury while executing strikes that remain convincing on camera. This kind of adaptive performance requires not only skill, but also a deep trust between performers. And the mutual respect between Bruce and Wall allowed them to navigate these challenges successfully. The physical demands of the fight were amplified by the broader production environment. Hong Kong film sets at the time often featured uneven surfaces, minimal padding, and close camera placements. Extras stood near fast-moving kicks and potentially dangerous props, creating additional hazards. Unlike modern productions, where safety zones and multiple cameras allow for controlled angles, the actors had to perform in tight spaces with little margin for error. Each kick, punch, and block had to be executed with precision, not only to maintain realism, but also to prevent injuries to themselves and those nearby. Real contact between Bruce and Wall added yet another dimension of risk. In the 1970s, martial arts filmmakers often blurred the line between stage choreography and actual impact. This approach was partly born of necessity. Limited budgets and tight schedules meant less room for multiple takes or padded substitutes, and partly due to performers' own philosophies. Bruce Lee believed that audiences could sense when strikes lacked authenticity. To convey true martial prowess, he insisted that punches, kicks, and throws carry real force, controlled but genuine. Bob Wall, having trained extensively in martial arts and previously collaborated with Bruce, understood and respected this philosophy. The Bruce Lee versus O'Hara fight in Enter the Dragon is more than just a legendary action scene. It's a masterclass in dedication, precision, and courage. Behind every kick, punch, and moment of tension lies the discipline, trust, and passion of two professionals committed to authenticity. Watching it reminds us that excellence often comes from pushing boundaries, embracing challenges, and giving our very best, even when the stakes are high. So whether you're training, creating, or pursuing your own goals, take inspiration from Bruce and Bob. Focus, commit fully, and never be afraid to face challenges head-on. Your dedication can turn even the toughest obstacles into moments of triumph.